I'm going to share my screen and we will start this magic. I will disable all these Zoom support stuff. Plotting controls, okay. I'm ready. Yeah, so first of all, I wanted to show you the website we will work together on today. So this is our website, easy peasy. As you see on the top, we have a header. Today we have an image, we have some text under the image, and we have the footer. So yesterday we focused on the HTML and CSS. So today I decided not to write the same stuff from the beginning because this is a bit insane. We already have the website, it works, everything is perfect, but we wanted to make it more interactive. That's why today we will write the GS code and provide some interactive magic on our website. Look, one thing, this stuff, this is not a JavaScript or something. This is just a GIF file with animation, just an image, nothing more. Okay, let's go deeper to the code. Yesterday, I already told that every website, as usual, it consists of 3 different types of files. The first one, this is HTML. So HTML, this is kind of skeleton of our web page. It says what blocks like body, div, p, I don't know, image, exist on our page. How these blocks will look like is written in our CSS files, because CSS means the Cascade style sheet. So all our styles are living inside a CSS. And this third one, this is a JavaScript. We have a gs.js, that means this is a JavaScript. So let's go back to our HTML and figure out what do we have here. So we have a header, as I said, this is a header, like procrastinate, and this button, this is part of the header. Procrastinate and the button. Button we will need a bit later, but I will tell you for what. So also we have here an image. This guy, this is an image. We have an advice block. Advice block, this is this block. Because if we check it, you see here we have text, we have second text, and we have the image of blinking rectangle. The same we have in the code. Block number 1, block number 2, and the image. We have footer with, what is it? This is a copyright or something like that. We have a script. Script means we connect something interactive to our web page. And we will do it with the scripts. Pay attention that here we have 2 scripts. The first one, this is the vendor code we are taking from Yandex. As you see from the link, like yandex.net, blah, 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 and the name of the library. And the second one, this is script.js, the local one. So one we are taking from the remote, from the server, and one we will do here. Why do we import the file from the web? Well, in a normal life, like, well, imagine you are a developer with a 5 or 6 years experience. Well, anyway, this is unavoidable. You will be lazy. Lazy in case of writing the code. It's not necessary to create something if it was already created by someone else and it's stored in the internet. You can just take it, import, put it on your website, and it will work. So you do not need to duplicate someone's job. Yeah. So what is a Smoothly.js? Smoothly.js, this is a function which was written by Yandex professionals, and what it does, it provides you kind of animation to show in different elements. That's it. For now, this is enough. So Smoothly.js, this is the function to provide smooth animation. Okay. So as you see here, this is the JS file already, yeah? So here we have let phrases. And as you see, this is an array. These square brackets, that means that this is an array. Array, it can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. That means that this array has only values inside. But in our case, array is more complex because every item of the array, this is kind of small object. And in this object, we have text equal to something, and we have image also equal to something. This something for text, this is just a text, just a string value. For the image, this is also a string, but there is a link encoded in it. So as you see, this is the link. Every time you see an image, this is the link. You see the text, this is a string. Easy peasy. Okay, you may ask, why do we have here a let? What is a let? Okay, so many years ago in JavaScript, we had var. Var means variable. But, well, JavaScript, this is also a language. Language, it grows, it becomes more modern, it takes new philosophy, new ideas, and so on. So right now, we don't have var. We try to forget about it. We have const. Const means this is a constant. And constant, this is, for example, the number. Well, I don't know, 10, for example. Or like constant. So 3.14. Okay, I'm a bad mathematics. But, well, let's imagine this is our constant. Const pi. Pi, this is 314. Okay, will it work? Yes, it will. This is a constant. We do not change constant. If you try to change constant, the code will say that, well, you're doing something wrong, please fix it. For all other cases, when we are not working with the constants, but it's necessary to create a new variable, we are using the let. So let a equal to, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then, for example, something changed and we wanted to make a equal to ab. Is it possible? Yes, it is. That's the only difference you should know. So as you see, this is an array we created here. I don't want to change this array in future. Nonetheless, physically we can change it because of different circumstances. This is not a constant itself. So let's say this is a let. Let phrases. Okay, we already figured out with a let. Now what shall we do? Look, here in the index, we have different classes. We have logo, we have button, we have image, and so on. But this span doesn't have a class because actually, well, usually we provide classes in two different cases. Case number one, it's necessary to describe these classes somehow in case of our styles. Let's open our styles. We have HTML, we have body, this is just a text, we have header. So we selected the header by dot. Dot means this is a class, yeah? So we selected our header and we provided some styles inside. Okay, this is a case number one. Case number two, when we need to select the element somehow and maintain it inside the JavaScript. So for our experiment, we need 4 different elements. The first one, this is a button because we will maintain this button. When a user will click on our button, some magic will happen. The second one, this is an image because I wanted to change my image. The third one will be phrase because this phrase will be in a parallel binded with an image. So every time we will change something, we will change the image and the second part of the text. Second, I mean, this is the first one, this is the second. Okay, we can, the fourth one. The fourth was this phrase, yeah? Yeah, so advice itself, the whole block, this is selector number 3, yes, and phrase number 4. Okay, so let's create these selectors. Yeah, so here we'll create const because we will never rewrite these values again, yeah? So the first one will be what? Will be button, this is obvious. Well, I have a cheat sheet on my left side, so from time to time I will correct myself and read from the second screen because, well, this is the world of programming, and in a world of programming, you can write the same stuff with 1,000,001 possible ways. So right now, I wanted to follow the same scenario which I was writing before. So I will control myself from the second screen. Okay, let's go further. So here we'll write document. Document, when you write document, this is a word reserved by JavaScript. So it says that you right now request the whole document, the whole website, yes. So document, this is stuff which always exists for the JavaScript. And JavaScript always know about the document if we are working inside the browser. Because, well, you can be surprised, but we can run JavaScript, for example, in a smart fridge, in a, I don't know, helicopter, in a anything you want. So in any smart device, you can write the JavaScript. So that's why we say that document exists only in a browser. Okay, easy. Like query, the next one will be query selector. When you say query selector, you are saying like, okay, JavaScript, please find the document. Document, this is the whole web page. We already understood it. Then with a dot, we say that this is the method of the document. So document, it can return as, okay, I will provide an example. So document, very simple stuff. Document by default, it has some values. For example, I don't know, V, who knows, maybe it exists. And this is 1, 2, 3, okay. And it has also, I don't know, another method. Another method I will copy it from here. So this is the query selector. And query selector, this is a function. So if we need to call the function from the original object, we call it with a dot. So document dot query selector, that means that we will call this function from this object. That's simple. Okay, so here, yeah, this is the magic of query selector. Query selector allows us to select elements with the same way like we are selecting them from in our CSS files. Look, you see, we found our element with a dot. Dot means this is a class. The same stuff we can do here. So it will be button. Yeah, so document query selector button. Now, well, this is the good practice. Well, right now I'm going to provide you a tip you will use always in your development life. Like you wrote the piece of code. Now you suspect, you propose that it will work, but it's better to check yourself. And now we'll write console.log, and here will be button. So what means console log? Console log means we will write this message in a console of the browser. And what kind of message? We will write the element. So if document query selector button exists, the button will show it to us. We are going back to our browser. Here, if you don't know how to open this bar, this is F12 or Alt-I on the Windows. I prefer F12. You press F12, and here you have a console. We update the page, boom, you see, div class button and another idea. So our code showed us that JavaScript found this element and rendered it. Okay, for now we don't need this console log. We already understood how it works. So here we need 4 more elements. Second one will be what? Will be image. So this is an image. Here we have advice. And here we have what? We have phrase. Okay, perfect. So all these elements now exist. They're written in HTML. We found it, and now we have variable for each of them. Okay, now it's necessary to create a function. Function get random element. This function will have the most complex magic in this project, and I will tell you why. So what this function does, this function will take one of these phrases, because you see right now phrases, this is just an array. What we want to do, we want to take absolutely randomly any element from these phrases, to take the text from it, the image from it, and put it on our web page. That will mean that if you press on the button, or by default, this image will also will always change in a parallel with the text. They will just switch. And this switching is done by this library. So you see, this is the smoothly.js. So we already understood that this is a function. It takes some parameters inside, and it will provide us magic. In a real life, we call it API. For example, if we call, I don't know, Jquery Api. So Jquery, this is also a library in the internet. We open Jquery, and in Jquery we have, for example, the function add. How this function works, because right now I don't know this function, and for me this is a magic. We open it and it's written like how to use this function, in what cases we should use it, and so on. This we call API. Okay, in front of our eyes right now this is a documentation, but API, this is how you manipulate with a library. Okay, well, right now this is not the super best description of, well, API, but at least you will understand what does it mean in our context. For today, this is enough. So, okay, we already understood that the most complex stuff, I mean, the animation itself, will be done by the smoothly.js. Okay, but we still need to return somehow, according to the random rules, any elements from the phrases. What we know that get random element will take as an argument an array. So what I want to do, I want to, every time I need, I will just throw phrases inside the get random element, and it will maintain it. So right now I'm creating the description of the function, but I do not call it. if you need to call a function, you call it like that, just its name and round brackets. And inside, we will provide phrases. Look, this is how I will use my function. But inside, I'm providing the kind of arguments. And these arguments can have absolutely different name from what we provide inside. I prefer array. Array means array. And inside, we will use not phrases, but we will use ARR, because ARR, it lives only inside the get random element. Outside, it will never live. So here, for example, error doesn't exist, like a huge X. It doesn't exist because we create this kind of variable only for this content. It lives only inside these curve brackets. Okay, we already understood how it works. So now we need to create kind of variables. So let's random. This is a random element. Okay, and it will be the math dot floor. Inside will be math dot random. I will describe what I'm writing right now because, well, this is a bit complicated stuff. Okay, we call it, and it will be what? Now it's necessary to describe what I mean. Okay, and we return RR, and here will be this random element. Look, math, this is the default library inside the JavaScript. So as you can understand, math means mathematics. So if you say math random, it will return you absolutely random value, but it returns the random value from 0 to 1. Here we have an array, and the values in array are on. Okay, look. So for example, we have A, we have B, we have C. But the indexes of these items inside the array starts from 0. So A, this is our phrases dot, not dot, square brackets, 0. It will return us the first text and the first image. It will be just an object. B, this is 1. C, this is 2. So right now, this is obvious. But here, math random will return the values from 0 to 1. So it can be, for example, 0.42, for example. And what can we do with this value? This is absolutely, well, for us, absolutely not useful. That's why we multiply this value, math random, we multiply it with an array length. In our case, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we multiply it on 10. So every time this construction, math random multiplied on array length, will return us not 0.42, for example, if this is a random value, but 4.2. Yeah. And here, before we have a math floor. Math floor means that you will round this mathematical value to the, well, downstairs, yeah? So instead of 4.2, it will be 4 sharply. If there will be 8.8, it will be transformed to 8.0. because it's floor. So floor will always round your value to the closest smaller value. So instead of 7.9, it will be just 7. Okay, we already figured out how it works. So after this construction, math floor, math random, blah, 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 always the real number, the sharp number will come back. It will be 4, 7, 9, 9, 1, and so on. So between 0 and 10, because we have 10 elements, yeah? So we don't expect that here will be 13 because, 13, because phrases do not have the 13th element. It has only 10 inside. Okay, and this row, it returns an array. We already understood that phrases will go inside get random element. Get random element, it will take this array of the phrases. It will generate the absolutely random value, and it will return us the random item from phrases. Okay, let's just create here a variable const a equal to get a random element phrases. Right now I'm creating a. This is absolutely bad name for the variable, but for now this is okay because we are creating kind of test. And here we are writing console.log. Do you remember my tip that every time you're writing something well finished, just check it really works. And here will be a. Okay, we are going back to the browser. Look, absolutely random, it returned me one value. So procrastination, blah, blah, blah. Let's focus on the text. Every time it will be different. So here the last words are how she is doing. We update the page. Data science course, this is different. We update the page. Now this is a mistake of your blah, blah, blah. So you see every time I'm updating my page, it returns absolutely random value. Does my code works? Yeah, that is. So, okay, let's finish this magical stuff. Get random element, it works. So every time we will call this function, we will get a new image and a new text. Okay. So here we are writing the new piece of code. We want to write the loop like, okay, for let I equal to 0, I will be less than 2, for example, and I plus plus. So here we are calling the, as far as I remember, well, if we call smoothly, the name of the function will also be smoothly. Yeah. So here will be phrase. The second one will be text content. Text content. I will tell you what does it mean a bit later. And phrases, I and text. Okay. So function smoothly. How does it work? When you call smoothly, let's create kind of API. The first value, this is the selector. So do you remember in the beginning we created a few different selectors like button, image, advice, and phrase. So what does selector means? That you selected elements from the DOM, you save this variable which has a link on the elements from the DOM, and this is the selector. So inside the smoothly, first of all, we need to provide our selector. Like smoothly should know about what kind of element we are talking about. We are talking about our phrase, because phrase, this is the text, which will always be different. Text content. If you found, well, if you created the selector and you found the element, for example, this is our phrase, and if you wanted to change the value inside, like, so right now inside we have what? We have do something else. If you wanted to change do something else to something different, you take the selector like this, like phrase. I will just write it. Yeah. Text content equal to something different. Let's check, does it work or not? Boom, you see? So this is how we change the text inside the selector, which is connected with the real document object model with a HTML, and we change the value there. Okay, now we don't need it, we just clear it, we don't need it. Okay, so my loop is still exists here. Yeah, also we call the smoothly once again, because with the phrase we changed only the text, but it's not enough. We also need to change the image. So this is the image. Here will be src as far as I remember. Yes. Here will be also phrases. We also selected from I. This is the value from the loop. So every loop iteration, it will increase, because here I wrote the rule. So every time it will increase. From 0 to 2, it will increase. Yeah. So here will be image. Yeah, you see? We are doing nothing, my hands are here, but magic happens. Perfect. So it changes once, it changes second time. Okay, enough. For example, here, let's say less than 9. Update the page. First time, second one, third, fourth, and so on. You already understood how it works, yeah? So 2 is enough. Okay, so we are done. We are awesome. We wrote the biggest part of this functionality. But we forgot about the button. Do you remember in the beginning I said that we will maintain this button? Another idea. So let's say that I forgot to update it. Let's say a user came to our website. They already saw all our images and text, but now user want to have an ability to press somewhere and update image and text again. So what do we need to do? We need to create an event listener. What is event listener? Imagine that you are saying to your element or to some functionality inside the JavaScript, like, hey, JavaScript, some event can happen. So from this moment, you need to listen it. And when it will happen, you should do something. And JavaScript just sits and waits for, well, this event. If event happens, it starts a function. It starts some stuff. So let's create it. Here we have a button, yeah? And we say button dot add event listener. So we say that this button will have an event listener. What kind of event our event listener will wait for? It will wait for a click, because on the button, as usual, we are clicking with a mouse or with a tab, doesn't matter. So here will be also a function. And what this function will do, it will just say me hello. Yep. Let's go back to our console. So right now, I will click on the button, another idea, and here on the right side, we must see the hello text. If we will not, we are doing something wrong, definitely. Another idea, hey, on the right side, we see hello. That means that right now, our button has an event listener, and all the time, it just listens what happens with the button. If we click on the button, event listener fires the function. We click again, and you see here, this is the counter of event listener counter. It just counts how many times this event was called. If you will click a lot, so every time it provides you the result. If you are clicking once, but this value increases its value on 2, on 3, so instead of 11, there will be 13 or 14. That means that somewhere you did a mistake, and this event listener calls itself 3 or 4 or 5 times because of different reasons. And now, this is definitely a bug and you need to fix it. Okay, let's go back. So instead of console log, what we are doing, we just copying the same stuff. Okay, okay, we need the random element. Random element, this is the function we created in the beginning. So here we will say we need a random element.text and random element.image. Because do you remember, get random function, it returns one item from the array, but item inside our phrases array, this is an object. And inside the object, we have 2 different fields. The first one, this is the text, and the second one, this is an image. So here, when we call get random element, the function itself returns us the object, absolutely random. And we are taking the text from this random value, from this random item from the array, yes. The same stuff for the image. Okay, let's check that it works. So by default, our code changed image and text twice. So right now it's already happened. Right now our code stopped its work, so nothing will happen. Now we click on the another idea and image changed. Okay, what did I do wrong? Undefined. No way. So right now we will, I suspect, debug everything. Okay, I forgot one thing. So here will be let's random element equal to document. Yep. No. Get random element. Okay, I got it. Get random element. We call this function here. Okay, I got it. And here we provide phrases. Phrases. Yes. My mistake. Sorry, guys. It happens even with the senior developers. Yeah. So where I was wrong, I forgot to call this function. So if you remember before, I had something like get random element dot text, but this is, well, this is insane. This is crazy because we do not call our get random element function. Right now we create the value, we create the variable random element. Then we call our function get random element, and inside we provide our phrases. This is the phrases. Do you remember our get random element? It expects for array. So we provide it inside the array. Phrases, this is an array, so we can provide it inside get random elements. Okay, we created one variable before. Of course, we can do something like that. So call this function twice. Yeah, instead of that, we can call it twice and return back a text and image. But one magic thing here will happen. Every time you call get random element, it returns you a random element. So first time it returns a random element, and the second it returns the random one. So actually it can happen that on the first time this element will be selected. The third one, 0, 1, 2, the second one. And the second element on the second call, where is it? This is the second call, this element will come back. So our image will be absolutely not connected with the text. This is the thing we wanted to avoid. So that's why we create the variable. So this variable will always include one item from our phrases, because we called our function only once. We got only one element back. From this random element, we are taking text and image, and we are parsing them. We are putting them inside our HTML. Let's check that everything works. So animation number 1, animation number 2. Now it stopped, nothing works. We press on another idea. Hey, and it changed again. Look, we are pressing again and it changed. Press again and it changed. Press again and it changed. That's it. Actually, that's it. This is what I wanted to show to you today. So as you see, we wrote not much code. This is a hard-coded stuff just with our values. This is our selectors. And the functionality itself, this is just how many? 15 rows, not much. And as a result, we have an interactive page. So this is not just a static image and static text. It interacts somehow with the user. User will click somewhere and something will happen. Is it awesome? I guess yes. For how many? For 20 or 40 minutes of our job, we implemented the animation with interactive stuff. I guess this is perfect. Of course, this code is not the final option, because imagine that you are working in a real studio and you are doing a lot of websites every, I don't know, year, month, week, doesn't matter. As usual, you have a customer. A customer comes to you with a kind of documentation, with their ideas, what they wanna. And customers say that I want a really cool animation, like I wanna click on the button, another idea, and the new image will come and the new text will come. You provided this functionality to the customer. Now customer, or the QA department of the customer, QA means, I don't remember. So this is guys who test your functionality. QA means they are responsible for the quality. They are trying to find bugs in your code. This is QA. So the QA guy, they just press 71 times on the button. Now they do not click anything, and you see my code is still working. It changes images and text all the time, but I'm doing nothing. Hey, my hands are here. What happens? Why is it so? We don't know. So as you see, even in this case, my code is not perfect. Okay, it taught you how to write the code, how to provide the functionality, and so on. But every time we have something complex stuff, like we need to stop the animation and run it and wait until the user will stop clicking and so on. There are new constructions are coming to our code, to our mind, and so on. There are lots of approaches in web, like how to solve this issue and so on. A lot of approaches are already done. As I said in the beginning, 99% your issue is not unique, and someone was fixing it many years ago or just a day ago. The best source is still Stack Overflow. Oops, this is my job. So here we have a lot of different questions. Like one guy is asking like JavaScript, mean value, blah, blah, blah. Hey, can someone help me because I don't know? Okay. The same for you. You can ask your question. People will come to you and will respond to your question. But with the 99% guarantee, as I said before, that this question is already exists here and you can find the answer already here. So yeah, that's it. I guess this is everything I wanted to share with you today. Now we can make kind of questions and answers session. If you did not understand something, just, well, right now, this is the best moment to ask, hey, Serge, why this is working, why we created this instead of this, and so on. So feel free, don't hesitate, ask me any questions you want to.
Okay, guys, you can freely unmute yourself and ask any questions. Not also about the code, maybe you have some questions about Practicum or about, I don't know, how does the usual workday of web developer look like, and Serge will tell you about that a bit more.
I think we have a question. What is back-end development and what does back-end developers do?
So you close your laptop and this is the backend. Okay, so front-end, as a front-end developer, your main goal to transform the image. So in a company, we have a lot of different people. They're responsible for different stuff. And designers, they're drawing the picture. As a front-end developer, you need to transform the picture, like the drawing, the art, yeah, to a code. You need to transform it to a code to let your browser know about this image. I mean, what was image before, what was drawn like a button, should be a real button on the page, should interact somehow with the functionality. This is the front-end side, plus some animation and all this stuff. Backend, what backend guys are doing? Imagine, for example, you have, I don't know, online store and you are selling, I don't know, skateboards, for example. You have a database with your skateboards because, look, here in my code, everything was hard-coded. So all these phrases, they are hard-coded here. This is not the best approach. The best approach, we will save all these data somewhere in a database. And every time you need something, front-end making a request to the backend says that, okay, I remember this guy. He was ordering the skateboard 2 weeks ago and we need to provide him the same skateboard once again. Maybe he wanted to return it or something, repaint, I don't know. And the user will get back only one skateboard. So instead of the huge list of our goods, they will get only one, or 3, or 5, according to the logics written on the backend. So backend guys, they are working with the database. They are writing different rules for the database, how to maintain it, and so on. Plus, currently, backends, this is not a monolith. This is not a one file or one object. Backend guys, they are trying to split the whole backend magic on different places, or on different chunks, because every chunk will be responsible for a different stuff. One chunk will be responsible for providing skateboards back to the user. One chunk will be responsible for taking a new options about the skateboard to the server, because maybe user said that, I don't know, we are supporting the guarantee of our skateboards and so on. And the user said that I updated wheels on my skateboard. I bought a new one and I put it on the skateboard and I still wanted to prolong my guarantee on my skateboard, re-updating our database and so on. So front end, this is kind of interactive stuff. This is the beautiful things users are seeing every day. They're visiting your website. What is hidden, this magic on the backend side, this is done by backend developers. I'm not sure I clarified it really good, but I did my best.
It was okay. I think it was the analogy with skateboards is just awesome.
Yeah, this is just the first thing which was living in my mind.
Another question, please, how do you make the square/cursor at the end of the sentence appear and disappear?
Okay, this is pretty easy. Look here, this is not the code. This is just a GIF. So if we open it in a new tab, you see, this is just a GIF. This is just an image. Because GIF, it supports animation. That's why, well, it was the best solution in this case. Of course, we can do the same with the JavaScript, with, I don't know, with some CSS stuff, because CSS is extremely powerful nowadays. But for what? We have GIF, just put it on the tip.
And final question, or no, we still have time. So Gabriel asks how a team of developers work on a project. I mean, who does what and how they manage that.
Okay, let's take a look on a super small company. Well, I was starting with this company many years ago. We had one designer, one front end, one back end, one QA, and the lead or manager, call it as you want. So manager, this is the super active guy who takes the project from the customer. So customer comes to our studio and says, I wanted to build a site. We will sell, for example, helicopters. Okay, so manager writes the documentation. How should it be done? What exactly our customer expects? What pages should exist for this website, and so on and so forth. This is kind of long documentation. Then, according to the documentation, designer draws in the beginning of the sketch. Sketch means this is not the final design, but this is kind of skeleton. So black and white piece of paper, and designer say, here will be a huge promo image. Here will be a social media blog, for example. If manager and customer say, well, this is super perfect, designer transform it to a real design with this beautiful, I don't know, header, footer, all these drawn helicopters and so on. This is the image. Designer provides this image to the front-end guy. Front-end guy, they transform this image to a website, to a real website, to the code, provide some interaction, provide some animation, and so on. And then they finish their front-end job and provide it to the backend. Backend people, they create the backend stuff. They create the database, they create the engine, they create the API. API means if I will say, hey, backend, I need to get list of helicopters, I will collect it. If I say I need to put a new helicopter, I will send a new request to the server. Server will take it and update the database. So there are a lot of different kind of requests: get, put, delete, update, and so on. After that, we provide the final version of our website to the QA. QA clicks, as I was doing it 5 minutes ago, on the different buttons and checks that everything works as expected, as it's written on the documentation. If it is, we are done. We are providing this website to the client. Client pays our money, and we are selecting a new Porsche 911. The best description ever.
No, it's really good. Yeah, thank you very much. Guys, this is a really good opportunity to pick Serge Brian because he's a developer with 11 years of experience, and you can just approximately 11. So this is a really good opportunity to have an intimate conversation and ask questions you really want to.
Yeah, meanwhile, while we are waiting for a new question, I can say that if you did not understand something today, if it was complex for you, if you think that, well, programming, this is super complex for me, this is not my cup of tea, definitely. Well, wait a second. We are providing courses. They have 10-month duration. And during these courses, for you, this kind of website will be, this is, I don't know, 20 minutes job. I will do it, well, next 20 minutes, why not? It will be super easy because you will be a professional developer, like junior, okay, but not a junior only with a theory in his head, but a junior with real stuff in head, which can come on the project and start from the first day doing a job, become useful. So there's...
I'm sorry, there's a question from
ahead.
Jonathan. Do you have advice to learn web development on a more basic level than with Practicum, with the goal of having a solid basis, for example, for a sidekick?
Yeah, so Masha, yesterday you was providing the link on the Practicum, like from the beginning till the end. So today, this is the second webinar. Tomorrow will be the third one. We'll figure out with the GitHub. But as a result, after all these 3 webinars, I want to see the home task done. The home task, it was collecting some data from the HTML, CSS, some JavaScript. It was creating kind of super easy page. I can show it to you right now. So this is the home task. This is what you need to do. As you see, extremely easy. This is one image, one text, link on the footer, and if you hover on the 404, a new block appears. Yeah, so you do not need to connect a new library or something. You can just, well, here it appears with an animation, but you can do it with animation, without animation, as you want. But it should be done, it must be done with a JavaScript. As you see, the page itself, this is super easy. As a home task, it will take you, I don't know, first time maybe 4 or 5 or 6 even hours, but you will have to figure out how it works and so on. But trust me, when you will become a developer, the same page will take you 9 minutes or something. So this is the final goal, to teach you, to make you professional developers.